All right, let's go. What's up, guys? Are you afraid what could happen in the economy or nervous about what can happen? Well, after this video or this webinar, you're going to feel so confident in whatever direction you decide to move in your business. So it's how to brand or evolve your brand of your business to create a massive influence and income regardless of the economy. So I'm so excited. My name's Travis Brady. I'm so excited to have you here today and to teach you my 17 years of being in the industry and branding and transformation and creating influence. And I'll share a little bit more about me, but this is about you. This is about your business. This is how we can take it to the next level and really create the influence and the income that you want to create in your life. And so super excited. So here's what you're going to walk away with today. Okay. Secret number one, the biggest mistake people make when trying to grow their business that isn't talked about enough and leaves people stuck. Okay. Secret number two, why your business doesn't grow organically and no one refers or talks about your business. Okay. That's a huge one. Okay. And then lastly, how to consistently attract paying clients that want your services and love you for it. You know, what makes me feel good at the end of the day is not necessarily how much money I've made, but how much impact I've really created in people's lives. Money comes and goes, but there's one thing that feels the best is giving. It's contributing to the world. It's giving something that someone has received and it's empowered, it's helped them, it's brought them happiness in some way. So super excited to share with you all of this today. And if you stay to the end, I have an amazing free gift for you. Okay, there's no obligations, there's no sales pitch, anything like that. So put your sword down, relax for a second, okay, and just enjoy this and see what it can really do to help you go to the next level. So before you continue, make sure you do have a journal or book or something to write in, and because I'm going to be dropping lots of bombs on y'all here today. So to be upfront, here's who you are. Okay, here's the person who's going to get the most from this webinar. One is driven to do whatever it takes to get to the next level. Okay, there's nothing that this information is going to do for someone that's not driven, lazy, doesn't want to make a difference. Okay, and I think that's sometimes what people seek out in the world is the next formula, the next diet, the next thing that's supposed to help me. And of course, it doesn't work. Okay, because nothing on the outside is going to overcome what's missing on the inside. Okay, so this person is driven to do whatever it takes to get to the next level, purpose driven and focused on delivering value. Okay, there's a lot of energy out in the world with people saying, "Oh, rich people are selfish or they're bad people." It's like, I don't know anyone that can trick people into making them pay them money and delivering them shit in return. They have to deliver something that's valuable in return. So when people struggle making money, it's just to some level they're being selfish with the value. They're being selfish with what they're giving. Okay, so you have to be purpose driven, focus on delivering real value. Okay, this is for business owners that's been in business for 2+ years. Maybe they've branded, maybe they haven't branded, maybe they've never even thought about it. Okay, so we're having a higher conversation. Okay, and can you benefit if you haven't been in business for 2 years? Absolutely. However, just know that we're going really, really high with what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, this is the person that's wanting to build a business that makes it up through the ups and downs of business. Okay, the economy is going to change, okay, at some point in time. So the person here today is wanting to have a strategy and a philosophy to really go through the ups and downs of the economy. Okay, you're in alignment with your business and its values. Okay, one of the questions I always ask whenever I work with coaches is, have you hired another coach? And if the answer is no, like, I'm not working with you. I'm not, like, that is so not okay in my book. Okay, you should be telling people to do something that you are doing or have done. Okay, telling someone to do something that you haven't done and you're not in alignment with, yeah, it just doesn't sit good with me. So maybe someone else will work with you. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so you want to create more influence and income. Okay, and the reason why I say that too is some people go, well, I just want to help people and it's not really about the money. And it's like, okay, then, like, that's great. Like, go volunteer for a foundation, nonprofit. That's awesome. And I think more of us should do that. We have a foundation ourselves that we put some time and our own money in as well. However, this is about business. Okay. And so I asked that person, what's your purpose? Like, what's your mission on this earth? And they usually say something, save the animals, I'm just speaking out of whatever comes. And so they'll say something and I go, well, it sounds like your business then is to change as many lives, or is to help as many animals, or to help as many business owners as possible, or help as many homeowners as possible. So make it your business to make some money, okay? Because you cannot change lives without making money. Influence and income, okay, they go together. Everyone tries to separate it, okay? You can't separate them, okay? They both need you. Just give and receive. It's a circle, okay? It's one thing, okay? People try to separate it, okay? And I could get off on some tangents today, so be sure to write those down. Okay, you are a leader. Okay, you are a leader. You are a person that influences other people, okay, and can handle success. And the reason why I say can handle success, because if you can't handle success, then you can't handle failure. Okay, so you got to be able to handle both. The most successful people, they can handle success. And the reason why they can handle success is because they're okay with getting past failure if they're not successful. Okay, so it really is contrast. Okay, and they follow through the end. Okay, they follow through, whether it's this webinar, whether it's something in business, or whatever it might be, they follow through till the end. So it kind of goes back to the first point, is they're driven to do whatever it takes to get to the next level. Okay, so here's who I am. I've been on every major television station, been featured on Entrepreneur. Okay, I won't read this whole thing because, again, today is about you guys. Been in business 17 years, been speaking for 9 years. I'm a member, or I'm on the board of the National Speakers Association. That's been real fun and awesome. I've spoke to almost 1 million people at this point in time, if you add up, all my listeners and people I've spoken to over the years. So it's so fun. I love what I do, and I want you to love your business. I want you to wake up every single day loving what you do. Okay, so I'm excited for the webinar. So I'm very fierce. I'm very to the point. Okay, I have a roar, but at the same time, I am also very enlightened. I'm also very in touch with a deeper, higher purpose. I believe in God. I believe that we are all sent here for a higher purpose. And so I have these very different parts of me, but at the same time, I'm still speaking from Travis Brady. I'm very passionate. I grew up playing sports. So if you grew up playing any type of sport, we're going to get along really good. Okay. So I very just to the point. Okay. I'm very passionate. I'm loving. Okay. I want to take care of people. I want people to feel better than when I left them. I'm very purpose driven. Everything has to have a deeper purpose. So when I'm making decisions in my life, I go, what's the purpose in doing this? Is there a bigger purpose? Okay. I'm very competitive with myself. I don't care if you beat me. I don't care if I beat you. I don't give a shit. I care if I beat myself. And so I think that's a good mindset to have for anyone. We got to compete against ourselves, right? Okay. You'll never lose if you compete against yourself. Okay, I love to influence people. Like I was saying, what fills me at the end of the day is when I get a text, a call from a client, person that I've impacted. Someone reached out to me that I worked with 10 years ago and said, hey, thank you for your help at the time. It made a big difference. And that was like, wow, that's so cool, especially 10 years ago as well. So that's super awesome. I like to give the contrast. And what I mean to say the contrast is what's awesome, what's working, what's good, and then why people are unsuccessful, the blind spots that they see. So I like to share kind of the whole picture, because sometimes we leave out different sides. And so I like to give people a whole picture. I'm very straightforward when I say it. And I don't mean to be rude. That's how I like to communicate. I like friends and people in my life that are very straightforward to me, and I'll be very straightforward back. You never have to guess how I feel about you. You never have to guess what I'm thinking. You will know. I'll speak right to you. Okay. I'm relentless. Okay. I don't stop. I'm just go, create, build. Okay. And I'm a king warrior. Okay. I like to get after things. And also I'm kind of just a teddy bear too. I don't, I just want to love you. I just want everyone to get along. And I hate when there's confrontation with people and people are getting along. So, and at the end of the day, I just want to help you go further. that's really my intention. So whether we work together, whether we never talk again, whether you just follow me on social media, whatever serves you, I just want to help you go further in your business. Okay. Does that sound good? Awesome. I'm going to assume you said yes. So here's a little bit my story there. Me and my brother growing up, my mom always got mad at me because I was always making funny faces in photos, which I think I still do till this day. This is my younger brother, Tyler. We're at my dad's body shop. My grandpa started that in 1969. My dad actually runs that till this day. But we grew up in a very prestigious city, West Valley City, right? Not that prestigious. We played baseball a lot. We were very into sports. My parents taught me how to work. That was one thing that we grew up doing is knowing the value of a dollar, knowing how to work, putting in the work, never using excuses, committing to the effort. And so I remember when I was younger, my dad would throw football passes to me downstairs by the fireplace as we was watching the Utah Utes play. So those were some of my earliest memories, and I had a great childhood. It was perfect for me. I believe every life each one of us live is perfect for us. It's perfect for what we go through, and our experiences and our story are so vital to our success in life if we could just own them and love them. And so I do believe I had a perfect life growing up. Now, in the moment, I would have said it was probably the most horrible thing ever, but if I look back, it was really awesome. So I played baseball. I wanted to be a professional baseball player like most people. Most kids do that play sports, right? Right out of high school, I didn't get a scholarship, so I jumped right into my degree at actually Salt Lake Community College, and then later transferred to the University of Utah. I was a personal trainer. I ended up getting a job working as a strength and conditioning coach with the U of U. So this is me with some of the other strength and conditioning coaches. And so it was such a great time in my life. This was actually when we played Andy Dalton TCU blackout game, and they destroyed us. It was not a fun game to be on the sidelines. But about 3 years in, I hit a really tough road. It was 2010, October of 2010. At this point in time, I collectively have made about $50,000, $40,000, somewhere around there. And I was struggling financially, and I got fired at my first job at Gold's Gym because you're not supposed to sell nutrition programs, because I didn't have enough money. So I was like, man, I got to find a way to create more value to make more money. So I started selling nutrition programs. Well, you're not supposed to do that. So I get fired. I go off on my own. I don't know anything about branding. I don't know anything about marketing. Shit, I don't even know anything about being an entrepreneur. My parents had their own business, but they weren't really entrepreneur-ish. So I didn't really learn these skills until I started to hire coaches. Anyways, I thought I had my break. I got a job October 2010 at this high-level facility, and again, a client all month long. I was frustrated. My heart was hurt by being told no. And in that moment, I made a decision, and I said, you know what? I am done. I'm not, I guess I'm not meant for this. I guess I'm just not good enough. And I drove home, and I'm just crying on the way home. And on the way home, I stopped at my mom's house, my parents' house. And I remember walking in to my parents' bedroom and just flopped on my bed. My mom was laying there and ready to go to bed. And she goes, "What's wrong?" And I go, "How come no one wants to work with me, Mom? How come I'm not good enough?" And I just started bawling, crying, just so frustrated, so upset, so hurt. And she said something to me in that moment that I'll never forget. She said, "Son, the world needs you. Okay, look at how many people you've impacted. Look how many people you've influenced. You can't give up now. I know it's tough." And she talked me out of it because I was done. I was so done. I was so frustrated that things weren't working. And so this picture of my mom right here, and she is such an amazing person, and I do owe a lot to her for being the man that I am. So very next week, I go all in and end up getting a client, and yeah, it just kind of built up from there. You know, I really got into it, started doing competing. So this was me in nationals competing. But over time, my brand changed, my identity changed. I noticed like, yeah, it's great to look good on the outside, but I started to go, what about the inside? Like what's missing on the inside? So I have a whole story and I won't go into the details of it right now, but my philosophy changed into, you know, let's build an awesome, strong, confident person on the inside and showcase that on the outside. So I started getting into identity coaching. I started to get into what we quote unquote call life coaching, but I didn't consider myself a life coach. I consider myself a transformation coach. I was helping people change their mind and body. Started putting together events, started talking about all the aspects, you know, that comes down to business and just living life. And I got asked to go on different TV stations. It started to really blow up because people saw like, wow, what he's doing is different. It's unique. Okay. And, yeah, so went on all different news stations talking about this. Ended up going out on my own. My business took off to the next level. Broke 6 figures. Okay, ended up meeting an amazing woman by the name of Minky. She's now my wife. So this is us. We were in Florida with Elena Cardone. I don't know if you know Grant Cardone. That's Elena Cardone, his wife. So we did a video series with her. Spoke on stages with my wife, but we just live this incredible life. And so our message is be next gen. And next gen is unique. It's different. It's about standing out. It's about owning your truth. It's about offering more value to the world. And so that's our logo down there, Next Gen. That's my personal logo right there. And so that's what we do. We help companies and businesses evolve their brand or rebrand themselves to create more income and more influence in their business and do what they ultimately love, get their message out there in a different, unique way to catch more attention. And so we've coached thousands of people just like you, business owners, realtors, massage therapists, chiropractors. I've even worked with some doctors, personal trainers, life coaches, a lot of service-based businesses. And I've loved every minute of it. It's been so incredibly awesome to help people go to the next level and just to be a part of their journey in everything that they're experiencing. And so I'm excited to share with you. We've helped them build their brands, create better messages, adding in X factors that they didn't see possible, and really just going to the next level of their life. So Tom Brady's is actually, people, I don't say this a lot, but there's actually a distant bloodline there. Not enough to say, hey, Uncle Tom, can I come hang out with you and Giselle in your suite, right? But enough to say, yeah, there's a bloodline. But the thing that I love about Tom Brady, and I don't care if you like him or not, the thing that I love about him that I think you have to respect is he is not the most talented. He is not the smartest guy. He is smart. He's just not, he wasn't born with the it factor, I guess you should say, but he's worked his ass off to get where he's at. I mean, 6 Super Bowl wins, been to 9 Super Bowls. And I put this quote on here because I love it. A lot of times people who are so blessed with talent are the most competitive and have the biggest hearts. And I believe that's true sometimes. And I don't think that I'm better than you. I don't think you're better than me. However, we can be better at something, right? And so that's my goal, is to help you become better at your craft by adding in additional things that you don't see. And I would say most of all, just showing you how big of a badass you really are, showing how influential you really are. I believe that a lot of us have a hard time tapping into that X factor and that next gen level by ourselves. I know that I didn't, right? It took a lot of mentors. I've invested over $250,000, okay, of my own money over the year to like really learn these things and to become the best self. So as Tom Brady would say, let's go! All right, so let's jump one into it. What is a brand? Okay, a name, a term, design symbol, or any other feature that identifies one seller's good or service distinct from those of other sellers. Okay, the practice of branding is thought to have begun in ancient Egypt. They used to brand their livestock so they would know whose was what, right? In ancient Rome, a brand or inscription applied to objects offered for sale. So we've been doing branding for eons, right? It's it's something that we've been doing. If you think about, if you've ever been to Egypt, I haven't. It's one of my life goals, though, is you go and you see all these encryptions and all these symbols, and all the different pyramids. And so we've been doing that since the dawn of time, creating messages to give to the world, to create influence, to influence people to do something, right? And so in the 1900s is, I'd say, when branding went really to that next level. Okay, manufacturers, okay, I think Chrysler was one of the first ones, began to recognize the way in which consumers developed relationships with a brand, okay, in social, psychological, and anthropological sense. Okay, so that's kind of the quick history lesson of branding. So the first question is branding really necessary, right? Do I really need it? Okay, and let's talk about that, because that's a legitimate question. Okay, is branding really necessary? So here's what branding is not. Okay, so let's talk about that. Branding is not just a pretty logo, a pretty picture, a pretty website, a pretty video that just shows, hey, I have a business. It's not whipping out your fancy business card at a networking event and egotistically handing it to everyone like you're the shit and you're the best at it. Okay, that to me is like saying Cruella de Vil is an amazing person because she has a nice body. Okay, that's the first thought that came to me anyways. Is like, no, it's about the inside. It's about what's behind the symbol, what's behind the graphics, what's behind those. Not saying that we don't need those. We'll get to those in a second. Okay, it's about, are we really clear about why are we doing what we do? Are we clear about the way that we do it, our formula? Okay, the process of which we do it. Okay, are we clear there? Okay, are you focused on helping the right people? Do you know who you're even targeting? Okay, do you know what those people even like? Do you know how to talk to them? Do you know how to have a conversation with them at that level? Okay, do you know what the result that they're looking for? What's the result that you provide? What is that result? Okay, are we having conversations with customers inside their head? Are we connecting? Do people love us? Do they trust us? Okay, so all these things, that's what branding really is. And if I had to bring it down to one word, the one word I would say is identity. Okay, what is your company's identity? What are your values? What's important to you? Because what you got to understand is we do business, we create relationships with people that are like us, okay, that believe what we believe and do what we do. So if we're not talking about that and we're skipping that, okay, that's a very vital, important piece. And so that's why I struggled so long in my business, is because I didn't know what my identity is. I didn't know what my business identity was, right? I didn't know those common things that we should know when we're going into business. And as a result, struggle with my marketing. I struggle getting results with clients. I struggle, not saying that I didn't get results with clients, but my influence and my impact could have been so much higher if I would have really just focused on those. So every time my brand improves, okay, my business improves. Those things are just connected so much. So do I need it? Okay. What I always say to people when I need it, you're already doing it. You just, whether you're conscious or not. Okay, because everyone has a reason why they're doing it, just whether it's conscious or not, whether it's serving or not, whether it's selfish or selfless, right? We all have a formula, whether we're conscious about it or not conscious. Is it clear or is it not clear? Okay, we all have people that we want to target, or we should. What some people do is, I work with everyone. Well, that's not an identity. That's not a brand. That's like saying I'll marry anybody. That's just not true, right? Okay, so these are the things that we're going to be talking about today. A deeper thinking of branding, not just what's your pretty picture look like? What's your Instagram picture? What's your Facebook picture? Does it look like you're professional or not? Okay, and I'm joking because that's what people think branding is. So do you really need it? Yes, you absolutely need it. So the next question is, and do I brand myself or do I brand my company? Okay. And the quick answer to that is you want to do both. Okay. The University of Utah is a brand, right? The Running Utes, it has a brand. Okay. Tom Brady is a brand. Okay. But here's what the studies show. I am actually not a Patriots fan. Well, I kind of am now, but I'm more of a Buccaneers fan right now. And not because I love the Buccaneers, is because I love Tom Brady. Okay. I always ask people, do you know who Gary Vee is? And they go, yeah, I love Gary Vee. Okay. Do you know who VaynerMedia is? No, what's VaynerMedia? And I go, that's Gary Vee. Okay. Why doesn't Gary Vee always talk about VaynerMedia and mention it all the time and have his logo of VaynerMedia? No, he has his logo of Gary Vee, which is actually kind of a little scribble, right? It's kind of his little signature. Which is kind of cool, by the way, right? And so more people are going to connect to a person than they are an organization, okay? And they say this, so on the news they do this, they'll talk about 3,000 people died today of this, or 2,000, or whatever happened. And we kind of disconnect from it, which is kind of sad, but when we say, Tim was on his way to school today and he got kidnapped and killed. So now when we hear individual, we're so much more connected to an individual than we are, okay, a big number, a big company. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, Peyton Manning, not a fan, but I don't hate him. I think great football player, by the way. Everyone loved the culture when he was here. When he moved and went to the Broncos, now everyone's Denver Broncos fans. So you got to realize that it has to be both. But if you're choosing, okay, what do you brand first? It's always yourself, okay? Always yourself, okay? And the truth of it is you want to brand both at some point in time, okay? And I can talk so much about that, and I'll give you guys an opportunity later to ask more questions if you choose to do so, okay? So what does a brand do? It is the foundation to building all your marketing, all your programs, all your services, all your sales processes. So when people come to, and we'll talk about this later in the webinar, when people come to their marketing, they go, what do I do? What platform? That's more of a brand question. What program do I offer? Should I do this? Should I do that? Yeah, that it comes back down to what's your brand, okay? What sales process should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Yeah, it comes back down to your identity, your beliefs, okay? And so most people just don't go there. They kind of ignore these things. They go, oh, I need to market. Oh, I need to do these programs. And we forget about those other important things, okay? So it helps distinguish which route to take in all choices moving forward. With a solid foundation, you can move forward with progression over perfection. You can just move so much faster moving forward, okay? People that don't have the foundation down, okay, they start building and then they get to this point where, oh, it's not working, or it doesn't feel good, or I don't like the business I build. Then they tear it down. And then they try to build it up the same way they build it. And they go, I don't like it. And they do this up and down process, And meanwhile, okay, it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare, okay? The tortoise staying on track, okay? The hare is just trying to do what's convenient at the moment. So it's like building a building. You want to focus on a firm foundation first, okay? Without the foundation, the rest is useless. I put a picture of this guy working out here because one of the main problems I saw with people when I was a personal trainer is they weren't grounded, okay? And what I mean by grounded is their feet were not connected to the floor. They didn't feel their feet on the floor, okay? They were holding tension through their back or their neck instead of really connecting to the floor, and all the energy is moving through their kinetic chain efficiently, right? They're using every muscle for their movement, okay? The way we do bodybuilding these days is actually very contradicted to the way that a body is supposed to move. So I'd make sure that I was building bodies in a functional way that they can make it till 80 and 90 without having hip surgery or shoulder surgery or all these other things that we commonly deal with, right? And so I'd really help them ground. I'd help them make sure that they have the foundation, okay, of the feet on the floor. So if their feet were turned in like this and they're walking on the edges of their feet, okay, that's going to show up in their hips. It's going to show up in their knees. Okay, same thing if their feet are like this, they're walking on the outside, again shown. So getting a firm plant and a foundation is honestly just a universal truth. Okay, and that's where business really starts, is what's your foundation? Okay, and because if we're unsure, okay, our team members are going to be unsure, and then our potential clients are going to be unsure. So, and we'll get to all this. So a brand is just so uber important. Okay, and again, it's your identity. Okay, and identity is everything. Okay, so here's the definition I looked up: a condition of character as to who a person or what a thing is. Okay, and you can brand anything, right? You can brand movements, you can brand a person, you can brand almost anything. Okay, it's the qualities, beliefs, mindsets that distinguish or identify a person or a thing. Okay, we all have a brand. Okay, we all have a mark on us. It's just whether we're conscious about it or not. Okay, my definition: who you believe you are at your core level. It's your deepest beliefs about you. Okay, and I teach this formula: be, do, have. Whatever you believe, you will do. Whatever you do, you will have. Okay, your belief is your mindset, it's your identity. Okay, your do is your actions, it's your skill sets. And then your have is your results and your experiences. Okay, so I put a little thermometer here. And essentially what this kind of the metaphor of it is, our identity is like a thermometer. Okay, if we leave the doors open and it's a cold day, yeah, the house is going to cool down for a little bit, but as soon as we shut the doors, it's going to heat right back up. Okay, same thing if it's the summer. If it's hot outside and it heats it up, the air conditioner is going to keep it cool. So our identity kind of sticks at the certain level. Okay, and so what I do with brands is, where does our identity or our thermostat need to be? And some people's thermostat is just like way down low. It's like 50 degrees. And imagine living in a house that was 50 degrees, right? You'd be bundled up all the time. Okay, no one wants to be in a house that's 50 degrees. Okay, customers don't want to be around your brand when it's vibrating at a low level. Okay, so same thing, too high. We want to have the perfect identity and brand for who you are. You need to live your truth, believe your truth. Okay, and so branding is not creating this perception that makes people think something that is not in alignment with who we are and what we believe. And people that try to build a brand that is really fake and not authentic to them, not that they're meaning to do this on purpose. I don't believe anyone intentionally does something bad, but they're just doing it to try to get a result. It never really works because it's not real. Okay, and we crave real stuff. We want real food. We don't want fake ice cream with all the stupid ingredients that were manufactured in a lab that we can't even pronounce when we're looking at the ingredients. We want real sugar. Okay, if I buy a Coca-Cola, I want real Coke made from Mexico, not this fake shit that's made in America, right? So that's how people are. They want a real brand. They want to be around people who believe what they believe. Okay. So, and again, like I was saying, you already are a brand. You already have an identity. It's just whether it's conscious or unconscious. You already have a mark, whether it's conscious or unconscious. You already have a message, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And if you're not defining those for yourself, okay, the world is going to define it for you. Okay. And this is really fascinating. I've worked with a lot of people, and when we start to dive into their identity, what we find out is that's not really your identity. That's the identity the world gave you. You're still holding on to the fact that you're not that smart because you were told that when you were younger. Okay, you're still holding on to the fact that you have a bad metabolism and people have a bad metabolism because your parents told you that. Okay, you're still holding on to the fact that if you're rich, you're going to be a bad person. So we have all these unconscious beliefs about ourselves that we actually don't even know, and they're not always good and they're not always bad. However, if you're not defining who you are and who your brand is, everyone else is going to be defining that for you. Okay, you already have stories. Okay, if you were to go talk to someone and say, hey, what's your story? You already have a story to share them. And when you share that story, people are going to be like, oh, okay, I know who you are now. Okay, if you had to share a story to somebody about your brand and about who you are, what would that story be? Okay, what would that story be? Stories are so powerful, and that's a whole other tangent we can get into. Okay, and you already have symbols, you already have visuals, okay? And some of your symbols and visuals are just really bad. It's quotes that you put on your Facebook cover that is all that is all fuzzy and you can't even really read it. You have Instagram picture, you can't even make out who's even in the picture, okay? You have a website or don't have a website. You have stuff in your house. You wear clothes, right? You already have symbols and visuals. Okay, it's just whether are you conscious about it or not. So you got to realize that you already are a brand. Okay, we're all a brand. We all have an identity. We all have a mark. Okay, it's just whether you're conscious about it or not. And if you're not conscious, okay, the world's going to create it. So you're like a water bottle in the sea just being drifted just wherever the water might go. And I don't know about you, but that's not the way I want to live. I want to be very conscious in what I create in this world. Okay, I want all my results to be because of me. Okay, because they are. And all the results that you've created are because of you. Because you did it. You have a responsibility and influence of your world. Okay, so secret number one is you need a brand that influences. Okay, and I know some of you are thinking, oh yeah, but do you really understand what influence really is? So let's dig into that. Okay, true influence is how do you feel about you, okay, other person. Okay, how does that person feel about themselves when they hear your message, see your brand, hear your story, see your visuals, okay, see your formula, know what you're all about? How do they feel about themselves? Okay, people mistake that with this category right here. How do I feel? Actually, where they make it is how do you feel, okay, about me? Okay, that's where everyone gets stuck. How do you feel about my logo? Okay, that's not confident. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about me? How do you feel about my hair? How do you feel about my lifestyle? That's not confident. And so when we get stuck in how people feel about us, that's not true influence. Okay, it's not about you. It's not about what people think about you. It's what do people think and feel about themselves. Okay, that is true influence. Okay, all these other things, all right, and so when I start to look at people's brand, then this is usually where I start. I go, are they really focusing on true influence? Are they really focusing on how does my brand or identity make other people feel about themselves? Okay, I have an identity board in my room, and one of the papers that's on it is, I love myself the most when I'm around Travis. Okay, I want that to be my identity, is I want it to be about true influence, okay? So we need to make sure we're focusing on true influence, okay? Now let's go a little bit deeper, okay? Now let's talk about a motivational message versus an inspirational message. What's the difference? Because people try to lump that together. I'll get people to say, hey, we need a motivational speaker, okay? Is that you? No, I'm not a motivational speaker, okay? Because a motivational speaker is essentially fear. It's push. It's anger. It's not enough. It's fights, okay? It's motivation is very dark, and hence why I put the picture of the woods, okay? And I have some bushes outside of my house over here, and what I've noticed is the ones that have grown bigger are the ones that actually have more light. Okay, the ones that haven't grown have more dark. So it's a universal truth that light makes things grow and dark makes things die, essentially. Okay, so we want to make sure that our message is in love, it's in inspiration, and inspiration is pull. Okay, so if you think about this movement for a second, so when your brand is doing this, it's very inviting. Okay, it's very loving. It's very, I have a choice. I can choose into that. This is very, okay, you're forcing me, you're pushing this on me, it's dark, I don't like this. And so we want to have a message that pulls people, okay, that's in love. So I'm gonna give you an example. One of the greatest, I guess, brands of all time is probably the Christianity movement, right? It's Jesus Christ, right? Which was love, acceptance, love thy neighbor. It's a very loving and inspirational message, right? It's, of course, because it's heaven. It's a higher power, right? Messages that are in the dark. So my wife is, she calls herself an anti-feminist, and she says, I love women, but not at the consequence of stepping on men and demeaning men and forcing men to appreciate us and to accept us. That's a more motivational message. Accept us. Let us do our thing. Pay us higher. All these things. So it's more of a motivational message. And so again, not that the women are bad with these types of movements. Okay. It's just, again, when we have a more motivational or dark brand, it's not going to grow as much as an inspirational, loving brand. Okay. And also, this doesn't create loyal customers right here. Okay. It actually pushes people away. And so how this benefits you is if you can build up a brand that's here, okay, you'll have loyal followers for a long time. Okay. People want to follow this. They don't want to, they'll be a part of this, but they're not loyal. Okay, they're not loyal. So we want to make sure that our message is in love and inspiration. Okay, so the biggest mistake people make when trying to grow their business is they don't operate on a deeper level with their influence and inspiration. Okay, so questions to ask yourself: is my brand as influential as it could be? Okay, how can I make it more about people feeling better about themselves? Okay, is my brand really focused on inspiration? Or maybe it has some dark. And here, let me give you a little bit of a difference. So I have worked with a lot of people over the years, and I go, why do you do what you do? Okay, we're getting down to the true purpose, the true meaning. And they go, I hate to see people stuck. That's not an inspirational message. Okay, that's a motivational message. I hate to see people stuck. That's why I do what I do. No, I want to see people prevail and live their life. I want to see people make tons of money. That's more of an inspirational message, okay, versus I hate to see people stuck. I hate when people are fat. I hate when people lose out on money, okay? And not to say that you never talk about any of those things and it's never in your messaging. However, if your core of your message and your belief is around like hate, anger, frustration, these things, it's not as powerful as it can be if it was in lights. Okay. All right. Jumping into the next one. Okay. Your business has to separate yourself. Weird, right? This is something you've never heard of. But like I was saying, let's go higher and look at this. Okay. How does my brand separate itself? Okay. So one thing is you already have components of your brand that separates it. You just don't know it. Okay. And that's what usually happens when I'm working with companies or people. I've even worked with a few athletes, is they have all the components to build their brand, because a lot of people think, well, I don't have the it factor. I don't know how to separate myself. Like, you already have it. And the thing that I tell people is, if you break the mind up into two pieces, okay, I know there's a bunch of parts of the mind, but the main two parts is the conscious and the unconscious, okay? And and I always ask people this question: what percentage of our actions come from the conscious versus the unconscious? Okay, what would your guess be? Most people say 50-50 or 20 conscious, 80 unconscious. And actually what the studies show is 5% of your actions come from a conscious level, which means you're unconscious. You're a zombie. You're just walking around in an unconscious state. And people go, well, why is that? Well, it's a survival mechanism, okay? They say that a baseball player literally shouldn't be able to hit a baseball. They said that it should be impossible. And so they say, well, why is it possible then? Well, because they've trained their body for so many years, swinging the bat literally millions of times, Okay. I would bet no one in the Major League Baseball, no hitter in Major League Baseball gets there unless they've literally swung the bat millions of times. Okay. So they've trained this body to respond over and over. And the unconscious is connected to your body. It's based upon feelings and emotions. Okay. So I use a picture of this big iceberg. So what we see on top is, this little itty bitty iceberg. But if we look underneath, wow, there's a lot of depth to that. Okay. And I would say the same thing about you. There's a lot of depth to you. There's a lot of unique stuff beneath the surface. You just haven't gone there yet. And sometimes we don't go there because it's a little scary, right? It's darker down here. We don't know what's down there. It can be scary. And so we kind of hold ourselves back from ourselves sometimes, because that's just the way we are, right? We don't really explore. Our mind kind of puts a prison on us and what we know sometimes. So I know I didn't unleash and unveil my brand until I met with other people. I had, hey, what do you see? Here's what I got so far. What components can I add? What am I missing? Here's what I got so far. And so they're able to show me a deeper part of my message. And so what most people think is I need to learn more, or I need to do more, or all these things. Like, no, you already have the experiences. You already have the information. You already have the knowledge, the wisdom, the story. We just need to put it together, okay? All right? And what it is it's influential, okay? It is the next gen of influence. It's passionate, okay? That's why I see a lot of people when we get down to building the brand, there's a lot of passion, there's knowledge, there's transformation. When I dig down to it, it's the new and old contrasted methods. We're taking old proven methods, but we're taking it with modern day principles and new science, things that we've discovered in a better and more unique way. Okay. When we get down to it, to the brand, it's about creating results for clients and customers. Okay. That's what it's really about. The best brands are the most customer focused. How can we deliver the biggest transformation for clients, okay, for people? It's using physiological and psychological, okay, principles, aka mind and body. And sometimes we forget about the emotions and the feelings, and we go into what we think. Okay, we're more emotional than we are physical. Yet when we're building our brand, sometimes we get caught up in the head. Oh, what are my customers thinking? What's their, how old are they? We get caught up more in the mind stuff. So we're feelers, we're emotional beings. Even us men are, as much as we don't like to admit it, right? Okay, so we build what's called next gen. So I believe the best brands are next gen, okay? Under Armour, Apple, Tony Robbins, okay, Gary Vee. Next gen is different, okay? It's unique. It's passionate. It's purposeful, okay? It's about true influence and love, okay? That is your influential brand, okay? And here's what you have to understand. Our brains and bodies have evolved over 2 million years on this planet. That is a long time, okay? Do you believe in evolution? Hope you do, okay? We have evolved as human beings, okay? They say human beings hundreds of years ago were actually a lot shorter than they are now, okay? We're getting taller, okay? We're evolving, right? So we're getting bigger, stronger, faster. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with our modern science, okay, and the things that we've learned. However, back in the Stone Age, Cave Age days, we focused on not thriving, but just surviving, okay? That's the main focus. How do we survive? How do we overcome this harsh winter? How do we find an elk to eat? How do we find vegetables? How do we find fresh water, okay? Our whole focus is on survival. Okay, again, going back to why we operate more in the body. Okay, our mind's too slow. Okay, our mind's too slow. If we operated from our mind, we'd all be dead. Okay, we're so slow when it comes to our body. Okay, maybe not so much now, but back then, okay, we had to be able to move our bodies, right? Okay, we're hardwired to look for the things that are different. Whoa, what's that? That paw print wasn't here the other day. What's that? What's that? Who's that person? They have different skin color. Who's that person? They have different hair. Who's that person, right? Like we're primed to look for the things that are different. Yet we feel good when we see things that are the same. Okay? So now when we understand this concept about how we're hardwired, our messaging, our brand has to be something that people understand and they see and they agree with. Yet it has to be something different that gets them to pay attention to what we're offering. And so people tend to, and so here's the contrast, people go super different, super crazy, okay? And then people will go super same, doing what everyone else is doing, thinking the way everyone else is thinking. And then on both sides of the contrast, they wonder why they never influence anyone or why no one buys the products. And so we want to sit like right in the middle between those two things, okay? And so I used a picture of, since we were talking about caveman, I use a Geico picture here. They did a great job kind of with that whole brand, the Geico caveman brand. So easy a caveman can do it, which is a slogan which comes back down to their brand, okay? Because one of the things that they identified is people don't like to change because they feel like it's going to be hard, so they went the slogan, so easy a caveman can do it. I mean, it was brilliant in what they decided to do, okay? So that's what people want. They want to survive, but they also want to thrive. And so if we can provide both of those through our messaging, okay, by same but different and combining those together, that's what's really going to separate us, okay? So, and you already have that in you. I call it the X factor, okay, the next gen factor. What unique mindsets and skill sets do you believe that make the difference, okay? So if you're a realtor, what's the mindset that made the difference with you going to the next level of your in your realtor business? Or maybe you're focusing on your realtor business, not training other realtors, but maybe it's focusing on getting new home buyer houses. So you focus on, you know what was important to me is to make sure that this house I was buying was setting me up with a good financial foundation to buy more real estate in the future. So their whole messaging is about being the investment realtor, right? It's a unique mindset and skill sets that make the difference. Okay. What do you believe people really need to be successful? So going back to my journey, when I was noticing people were really struggling with accepting their body and not loving who they were, regardless of what they looked like, I go, man, people really need to focus on their mindset and their identity of who they are and not let their outside define who they are. Okay. Roll this down a little bit. There we go. Can you see me? Okay. What's missing? So if you look at your industry you're in right now, like what's missing? Maybe you're a massage therapist and you're like, what's missing is the fact that everyone's always coming in whenever it's convenient. They're never coming in to, truly fix the problem, okay, and find a solution. They're just always focused on the problem. So I never really help anybody. Okay. So maybe you're like, man, I need to do longer level programs, or I need to add in nutrition to what they're doing. Who cares what I'm doing with them if they're going home and sitting in the wrong positions or sleeping in the wrong positions? They're undoing everything that I taught them. So what's missing? Okay. What's the missing formula that's offering? Okay. What have you learned through your experiences? And so with most people, like I was saying, they already have it. They're not identifying it. So most of what makes you different is the X factor is what you've learned through your experiences. Okay. So it's about having a next gen brand, creating a unique name, identity, symbols, and designs that separate you from others. Okay. It's showcasing your business in an artful and loving way that connects with people through psychological and physiological hardwiring, AKA mind and body. Okay, because if we're not going to that level, okay, and we're just like, yeah, I want to use this color because I want to use this color. I want to use this message just the way I use it. And there's no really science. There's no psychology or physiology of why that's effective. And they're just using it to use it. It's not really going to be effective. So we want to make sure that we're going to a deep level of how is this really impacting people? What would make this person talk about your brand at a party? What would make them want to share it on social media? Okay, what would make them feel connected and trusting to want to sign up with you and buy your products and services? Okay, so, and you're using real stories. Stories sell. Okay, facts tell, stories sell. Have you ever heard that? Okay, a story has the emotion in it. And again, we're emotional. We live in our body, okay? It's using experiences we've been through, visual strategies, right? Okay, we trust our eyes more than we trust our ears. Okay, I woke up one night and noticed there's banging outside my door, and obviously my wife's like, someone's trying to break in, and I'm like, no, we're fine, babe. So me and Max go out there. That's my Labrador dog, and we go out there and looking around, and we just noticed that a chair is just back and forth on the deck because it was lopsided or something, and it just keeps teetering across the deck, so it sounds like someone's walking across our deck. Okay, and so we didn't trust our ears, we trusted our eyes. Okay, your clients or your potential customers and clients are the same thing. They're going to trust their eyes more than they trust our ears. Okay, so that's why the visual has to go with the auditory. It's using all those it's using our five senses. Okay, so your business doesn't grow organically because there's nothing significantly different or unique in formula and messaging. You're just kind of blending in with everyone else. You're doing like everyone else is doing, okay? And as a result, you're going to get price shopped, okay? You're going to get looked over, okay? You're going to not get the attention, okay? So the questions to ask yourself, is my brand next gen? Okay, and by next gen, is it unique? Is it different? Does it stand out? Is it passionate? Is it purposeful? Okay, if I, when I'm interviewing people to hire to work on my house, the person I'm really hiring is not the person who knows the most, the person who's the most passionate, who loves what they're doing. Okay, is your love and passion showcased? Can people see that without even you opening your mouth to talk? Okay, so that's the thing you want to think about. Am I worried about what others think? Sometimes we're in an industry where everyone else is doing the same thing, being a bunch of sheep and following the next sheep, following the herd. And we feel like if we stand out, we're going to get shamed or we're going to get talked bad upon or whatever it might be, okay? So one of the things that I say is what other people think about you is none of your business, okay? Because going back to what we were talking about, influence is how do others feel about themselves, not you. Okay? Who cares what other people think about you? You want to go, how do people feel about themselves? Okay, so I think we're getting stuck up in selfish things. And what my mentor taught me, Elliot Hulse, is, just laugh about it. Allow yourself to be. Sometimes we get up all caught in how do other people think about me? How do they feel about me? It's just, what happens if we just allowed ourselves to be true to us, be raw to us, be real to us? Okay, I think it would really change the game. And so that mindset really helped me. I don't know if it helped you. Okay, and here's a good question. What would make people want to talk? What would make people want to talk about it in any economy? What would people find fascinating about your brand in any economy? Okay, and that's the thing is, does your business, okay, is it solving the problem that they really need? Okay, and an example is Burger King and McDonald's years ago, okay, back in the last depression, back in 2008. Okay, Burger King, when it was like, okay, we're just going to try to get by. Okay, we just got to try to save our money. We just need to try to get by and do the best that we can, but we're just going to hold still. Okay, just let's not make any mistakes. And McDonald's went to it with a completely different mindset. They said, you know what? We're going to let our customers know that we're in it with them. And we're going to show that we're in it with them. And we're going to create more value in our menu. So they created the dollar menu, right? And they didn't call it a dollar menu because that's boring branding. They said, there's that word, be a dollar menunaire. Okay, you remember that? A dollar menunaire. Get the most value for your dollar, right? And it really separates. So if you go back in YouTube and you watch some of their commercials, okay, you'll see how they used that time and that economic downward to tap in with the energy. Instead of Burger King was fighting the energy, okay, McDonald's was going with it, okay? Not that I'm suggesting create a bad burger company, okay? But it's just an example of you got to go with it. So when we're working with clients, we're making their business recession proof. How do we crush it during an up and down economy? There's always a place where we can add more value, okay? If you listen to my podcast, I had the owner of Five Wise Vodka talking about what they did actually last month to really add more value to the world that they've probably been making a lot of money from, but more importantly than that, they're actually helping, they're contributing to the world. And so that's important to me anyways. I want to be able to say at the end of my life, I've given more to this world and I've added more to this world than I've received. That's super important to me, okay? All right. And then one of the questions is, what makes it a scroll stopper? What makes your brand, your messaging, your business scroll stopping? What makes it stop and look at versus what everyone else is doing? So I used a picture here, okay? And right now I'm videoing this April 14th. And so right now, what is everyone doing? Okay. They're on their phones. They're consuming at an incredible rate. And honestly, okay, this trend, we're getting more and more addicted to our phone, okay? Are you fighting that? Okay, are you fighting the fact that people are going on their phone and you refuse to get on social media? Okay, you refuse to get on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook? Are you refusing that? Are you fighting the energy, or are you just going along with it? Okay, you got to go along with it, and that's really how you influence people. Is you go along with it. You don't tell them they're wrong. You don't tell them they're stupid. You don't tell them these things. You go along. Yes, it's always yes. Okay, I understand. I'm with you. All right. Your brand grows your business. Okay, secret number 3. Okay, how does my brand grow my business? Okay, it creates more customers through marketing and create better program services. So there's this trainer, okay, that says, you know what? We really want to make it more about a healthy lifestyle and being healthy. But it seems like a lot of our clients, they only care about losing weight. And so we have a hard time retaining clients because they're so worried about the weight. And I go, yep, sounds like a branding problem, because you see online, they're always showing before and after pictures, okay, of how much the person lost weight. So even they say they don't like these people, okay, or these types of customers because they want these things and they're not loyal. However, their brand is literally attracting them, literally targeting them. Okay, so when we get to these other parts in our business, okay, the marketing, the programs and services, people struggle. Okay, what platform? What do I share? What do I say? How do I get these people? All these different questions. They struggle because those questions are actually in the brand. Okay, those are branding questions. Okay, because so since they didn't go there and they kind of skipped over it, skimmed across it, they didn't say what we want our identity to be, and then they go on later and they start having all these problems. That's not a sales problem. Okay, it's not a marketing problem. It's a branding problem. Okay, and so people are going to notice these problems later in their business when they kind of go skip over the branding program, or branding process, or don't go as deep. Okay, no one's liking my post, no one's engaging, no one's reaching out to me. Okay, well, who are you trying to target? Which is a branding question. Well, everyone that wants to get into shape, or everyone that's trying to buy a house. It's so broad that you just don't really talk to anyone, okay? You want to talk to one person, not everybody, okay? And one of the biggest problems that I made in the past is I hire a website company, I hire a social media marketer, I hire, a videographer, I hire all these different people, right, to help me build my business, because at the end of the day, you can't do it by yourself, right? So I hire these people, and they don't know my brand. I don't know my brand. So what do they start creating? Shit. That's what they start creating, because they don't know what to create. They don't know what to build. They do it in the way that they think it is, and it's never successful because there's no clear-cut brand in the first place. Okay? Your sales process. Well, how do I do my sales process? Okay? Same thing. People want to work with people who believe what you believe. So if you don't know your identity, okay, that means they're not going to trust you, they're not going to connect, okay, and they're not going to love you, so which means they're not doing business. Okay? So your brand grows your business at every single stage. It answers all the questions and comes up with all the solutions when you go to that point, okay? And at the end of the day, and I know we talked about this before, that branding is not your pretty pictures and your pretty colors. It's all that included, okay? It's your messaging. It's, are they in alignment with each other? You can't wrap $1 million message in a $15 wrapper, okay? And that's what we do, okay? We, especially MLM companies. MLM companies are the worst. Okay, the worst. They're trying to sell a message based upon what corporate has created, and it looks very salesy. It looks very fishy. We all had, and if they just brand themselves separately from the MLM or separately, okay, from the organization, okay, they'll be much more likely to get business. Okay, we like shiny wrappers. We just do. Okay, I remember one time I was at the store and I was looking, I think it was peanut butter. I'm not for sure, but I brought it back to the house and I started to play with the wrapper, and I started to peel it back, and there was another wrapper. There was another wrapper underneath the one they put up on. And the wrapper on top of it said new and improved formula, better tasting, flashier colors, right? To stand out. Okay, and I bet they sold more because of that. Okay, now that's a little scuzzy to me. However, it proves the point of people are just attracted to the flash. Okay, but at the end of the day, if it's just flash, that ain't going anywhere either. Because imagine trying to sell something that is flashy, but deep down inside, it's not any different or any better. Okay. The lies, what happens over time is it starts to eat at people's soul. It starts to eat at our heart. And over time, it warps us down to the point where we don't even want to do it anymore. We don't want to. We're not as passionate in our voice. We're not as purposeful in our actions. And we kind of slowly start to die because of that. So we want to make sure, again, just going back to what we're saying, is that we're walking in alignment. There's nothing wrong with having a shiny wrapper. However, if it's just all about the wrapper, then it just doesn't work, okay? So secret 3, to consistently attract higher paying clients and consistent clients, your brand has to show them it can solve their problem. Okay, so questions to ask yourself: am I showcasing and offering a product that solves their current problems? Real estate's a perfect example. Anyone that I work with in real estate, they just crush it. And the reason why is because there's always money to be made. There's always an angle to be made out in real estate. It's very easy, okay? Whether it's flipping, whether it's buying land, whether it's rentals, there's always something in whatever economy to do that. So is your product or service showing that you solve their current problems? Is it going with the problem that they're experiencing right now, right? Are you Burger King or McDonald's? Okay, how much value am I giving them? Okay, that comes back down to your formula, which is part of your brand. Okay, how much value does my brand showcase? Okay, is it showcasing this is a high quality product? I'm a high quality person. I'm committed. I'm purposeful. Or is it saying, yeah, I really just don't care that much? Okay, I remember years ago when I first did my first website, it was so awful. And I wasn't clear in what I was really doing. I trained people. I'd meet people. What do you want? Yeah, I can help you with that. Right? It's kind of all over the place. And so my website was all over the place. Nothing was in alignment. Okay. And it showed, okay? I didn't have as good as a result. So finishing off, I know we're going long, and I could go so much longer, just so you know, we're just skimming the top of this. Okay, here's what else your brand does. It signals that you're passionate and purposeful. People want to work with people that are passionate. They want to work with people that aren't doing it for the money. They're merely doing it for the passion. Those are the people that get paid. It signals that I want to help move society forward. We're just inwardly hardwired to want to work with those people. Does your brand showcase that? Okay, and I use the 4 archetypes: the lover, the magician, the warrior, and the king, something that we all have within us, right? Okay, does it here's what else your brand: it gives structure to scale your systems and your business. Okay, when people start to hire people and they go out and sell, go out and coach people, go out and market, okay, and they really have a hard time growing that because they're unsure. They haven't built out their brand. They haven't put out their formula, just everything and so now that person is going to struggle, okay? So it really helps scaling your systems and your business, okay? It lets your clients and customers know you're serious and professional, okay? Word of mouth is going to grow so much more when you have those systems, you have those processes, you're showing that, you have videos, okay? You have graphics, you have websites, okay? How are people sharing you? Okay. Now, if I were to talk about you and say, hey, go follow Jordan, go follow Sam, go follow Samantha. Okay. And if they were to go look at you, are they going to go, wow, they're awesome. They look like serious. They look passionate. They look purposeful. Or they go like, yeah, they have 200 followers on Instagram. Not that followers mean anything. Yeah, their profile picture is a picture of their dog, right? Like, let your clients know and customers know you're actually serious and professional. Let them know and you play in the major leagues, okay? And then lastly, it showcases you as a leader and attracts other team members, okay? People want to work in an empire, not a crappy little village, okay? So if you haven't built up your empire, okay, your foundation to your brand, no one's going to want to stay with that long term. They want to be a part of systems that are already there. Because again, people are going to come in. Why would I come help this person? Why don't I just go off and do it on my own? Okay, that's what people think. Okay, most people want to come in. They want to do their job. They want to go home at the end of the day with their family. Okay, me and you, we're not like that, right? We're just not those types of people. Not that there's anything wrong with those types of people. That's just what they prefer. So if you're not making it awesome for people to be a part of your brand and your company, and you're not building a brand, they're just going to go out and do it on their own. Okay. And I was talking to an electrician years ago and he's like, yeah, I always have these electricians that come on me for a couple months, but then they leave and start their own business. I was like, yeah, because you're just operating like a warrior. Okay. You're just going out and you're doing the work. You haven't built systems. You haven't built a brand. You haven't built messaging. You don't have logos. You don't have contracts down. You don't have anything down when it comes to having a business or a brand or anything like that. And so they go, yeah, why would I work for this dude? I'll go out and do it somewhere else. Okay. So there's just things that your brand does. Okay. And so something to think about is, are you going to pass this business down to your kids? Okay, that's what I want to do. We're having a baby boy next couple months. I want to pass this down to my kids. I want them to run it. And if for some reason they choose not to, which it's their life, they get to choose what they love, right? I want to support them in whatever they choose. I want to be able to sell this business to somebody else, okay? No one's going to want to buy it if there's not branding, if there's not systems, if there's not things put together, okay? What's the long-term view? Okay, what's the long term? Okay, and so these are some things to think about. Sometimes we only think about the next year, the next weekend, or whatever. We need to think like really long term. Where do I really want to build this business to? Okay, and so here's the next gen formula. All right, branding starts first. It's your foundation. Now we get out that message. Okay, so marketing is essentially giving value or showing value. So now once we've determined our value, our identity, our formula, now we showcase that through our marketing. Okay, And then through our marketing, we showcase the programs and services that are going to solve their problems. And that's what creates the next gen influence and income. Okay. And so for a more specific breakdown of the branding, okay, I got something for you for those that want a more specific breakdown. Okay, so I have so much for you. So this is for the people who want a more specific breakdown of the branding foundations. Okay, what happens if we were able to sit down and talk and really dive into your brand and your messaging and what you're doing in your business? Okay, can I give you a roadmap? Can I get crystal clear with what you need to focus on and how you need to build it? Okay, so if that's you, okay, here's what I want to give you. Okay, a branding map that's going to break down the foundation and literally lay out the crucial steps that you need to creating a brand. Okay, you're going to get access to our mastermind for 1 month. Okay, it's $27 moving forward. You'll most likely want to stay on that. However, if you don't, totally your choice. It's the stupidest investment. If you're not a business owner, it's by far the best investment if you are a business owner, but you'll get 1 month access to that, sharing behind the scenes, how-tos, do this, here's what you need to focus on. Very up-to-date information from me, Minky, my wife, which is the master at marketing, and then Frank Wazetta, which is the online digital strategist. Then you're going to get a one-on-one session with me for $600. And the total is $877, and I promise that investment would be the best investment that you ever made in your life, okay? I've done this for so long, and I know one session we could have amazing breakthroughs to get to the next level, okay? And if all I did was give you better clarity moving forward, would it be worth it, okay? If all I did was help spark ideas that you didn't know you had, would that be worth it? Okay, if all I did was just give you a map, would it be worth it? What happens if we just build up a better relationship where I can refer people to you or connect you with someone that can assist you moving forward? Okay, if all I did was those, would it be worth it? Okay, and I think any one of those we can agree that yes. However, like I was saying in the first, okay, I have nothing to sell you. I'm going to give that all to you for free if you choose to do so. I would love to sit down with you, see where you're at, where do you want to be, where do you ultimately see yourself, what are your barriers that are holding you back from moving forward, and then start to draw out a little map for you so you can have clarity moving forward in your business. Okay. And if you felt like it was a great fit, we can show you what we do, but what's really important, or what we can do, but what's really important for us is just to help you move forward in whatever aspect that might be. Okay. So if you want that, here's what you need to do next. Okay. Go to CoachTravisBrady.com, scroll to the bottom. Okay. And there'll be a little strategy session link to click. Click that. It'll take you to a form. Okay, fill that out, and then once you fill that out, you'll be contacted by our client manager, Alona. She's amazing. Okay, don't mess with her. She's Russian. She'll kill you. Just kidding. She's awesome. I love her. She's the sweetest, coolest, smartest, awesome lady you'll ever meet. Okay, and then we'll email you. We will email you and schedule your, actually we'll call you. I don't know why I put email. Okay, so we'll call you and schedule that session, okay? So let's stay connected on social media too. Okay, here's all my different things. YouTube, I'm just going insane right now. So a lot of what I talked about today, I talk a lot about more in depth on YouTube. Okay, I'm releasing 3 or 4 videos a week, so I'm all on YouTube. And so my goal is to create free stuff that's better than people's paid stuff. So that's my goal. That's my aim. That's where I'm at. Okay. And then my podcast, I give away so much every single Friday. Okay, check out that last one that I dropped with the 5 Wise Vodka owner, CEO. Amazing how, and it's an example of how you need to essentially evolve moving forward in your business and your brand to create more influence and income. Okay, and then I also have another ebook where I talk about branding, okay, through the 4 archetypes. Okay, that's a super awesome. So if you click that, I don't know if you can click that. Oh yeah, you can. Click that link. Click that link and or go to that link. It's on my Instagram as well, and it will have amazing free sources. But that has my podcast on there. Okay, it has the podcast. It has Droid or Apple. Okay, and lastly, I just want to leave with the world needs you. Okay, you have something so unique, so different that sometimes we kind of discount that, but the truth of it is, like, the world needs you. You are unique. You are different. And sometimes the most ordinary is the most extraordinary. And that's what I used to think, man, I don't have anything extraordinary. I don't have anything unique to offer the world. And when I really started to dig into it, I was like, yeah, I have me. I'm unique. I'm different. And through being unique and different, I believe that's better. And so I believe your message, your business influences, impacts lives in ways that you can't even understand. And so the world does need you. And so I hope to be a part of your life, however you choose, whether we're best friends or we're just conversating on social media. I want to help you any way I can. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I truly want to impact and influence you so you can go out and pass this on, okay? Pass this to the world and be the influencer and leader that you know you are deep down inside. So again, okay, if you want to meet with me, go to travisbrady.com, fill out the form, okay? There's only a limited amount of spots, okay? So we're going to cap it out at about depends on my schedule, 10 to 15 people. I can't give you an honest answer right now. Okay. If we do fill up, we'll just reach out to you and let you know if there may be a time in the future that is available. But love to connect with you guys. Love to sit down and we can do it either on Zoom, FaceTime, or what I actually prefer is to sit down one-on-one. I invite people to my house. Can meet my dogs, sit down with me and my wife, and let's see what we can do to really help you out to get to the next level. We're really good at this and we want to help you become better at what you do. So thanks for joining today, guys, taking your time, which hopefully you've had a lot more time with this whole quarantine thing, right? Okay. Appreciate who you are. Be inspired in what you're doing. Okay. Be next gen. And I truly believe that the world needs you.